All right, I get a little TikTok because this has been sort of a whining thing that's been going on year after year after year, and I just try to ignore it. But it's getting to be policy now, and it's getting really frustrating when people say we shouldn't sort of return fire or attack back, or now they're criticizing the Israeli Defense Force in Israel for responding too violently. This is hogwash. I want to start swearing really badly right now and start swearing at other Christians who I see are saying we can't be doing that. And of course, Islam and the progressives and the left are constantly going to say, we need to seek peace now. That is so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous historically. It's so ridiculous in the sense that Islam never does that. They always retaliate with brutality. What's really ridiculous is when Christians or conservatives or people who are high convoluted and don't want to defend Israel or believe that Jesus and the church is the new Israel, want to criticize Israel now. I'm really ticked off at that. That is ridiculous. So he's saying here, Israeli President Isaac Herzog controversially asserts, it's not controversy, I don't know, and this is Gateway Pundit, so I'm a little, well, I guess it's controversy, but it's not controversy to me, asserts that no one in the Gaza Strip, including civilians, is innocent. Well, you know, in Christianity, Jesus said that, no one's innocent, but in this context, it's still true. They're going to go in and be brutal. They're going to go in and deal with whoever is there. Now, they're giving them fair warning. They're telling them to leave. But of course, the Muslims and the Palestinians are not going to allow their citizens to leave. And they all saw the Hamas building their rockets, doing all this stuff. Are the children guilty? No, they're innocent. But God, you know what? There's nothing we can do about that. They're using them as human shields, and the people in Gaza are deciding what to do with their children, and they're going to use them sacrificially. And why not? If they're willing to kill the unbeliever, if they're willing to kill us, they're willing to kill LGBTQ. This is hilarious. The trans and the LGBTQ are for Palestine. The Hamas would kill them immediately. They'd be the first to kill them. So he's saying, why can we not attack? Well, here, let me put some perspective here. Are you for the Civil War? Are you for the result of the Civil War? Okay, then and if you are, that the slaves are freed and that we ended that sort of thing, then you're a murderer and a killer based on your own pansy-wansy, let's have peace in the Middle East thing. You're a murderer then. Do you believe in the results of World War II, that we ended Nazis? Do you believe in that? Well, then you're a murderer of children and civilians. Do you believe, what? Let me go through this. Sherman's March. Have you ever heard of the Sherman's March? And I don't like using Wikipedia, but it's just the quickest and easiest thing for me to get to. Sherman's March is when General Sherman of the Union of the U.S. Wreaked havoc through the South and the Confederates, the Democrats. I know they're evil. They are saying that there was a party switch. That's BS. But that's what evil will do. The evil will never Democrat Party will never take responsibility for their slavery. They will only blame the good, the Republicans or the grand old party of the House that ended slavery. Sherman, and Ulysses S. Grant and General Sherman finally said, "Fuck it, fuck this, we're killing him." I got to start swearing. I'm sorry, I'm a Christian, but I got to start swearing. Fuck this, we're killing them. We're ending the Civil War. General Sherman marched through the South and killed everything. Okay, it was it was a death march or whatever. It was they just wiped out everything. The first example of modern warfare, total war. They killed everybody that was in their way. Now, civilians, I think, had a chance to flee, but whatever was in their way, they destroyed. They destroyed the Confederacy. They had to break their back to end the Civil War because so many people were dying. And in the beginning of the war, the freaking Northern Democrats were constantly trying to mamby-pamby it, and losing the battles and sabotaging, I believe. And Lincoln finally realized it, and he brought in Republican generals who kicked ass and killed and said, "Fuck this, we are ending this war." And the way they ended it was Sherman's March. They freaking went to the sea, if you want to use today's Islamic term, from blah, blah, blah to the sea, wiping out everything. That's how you end a war. Okay? Let's go even further back, the Crusades. The Crusaders were what? 1,200 cavalry, 12,000 foot soldiers, and they besieged Jerusalem. Now, they'd been there 3 years in this horrible desert place, and they went after them. A siege in medieval times, the standard, the norm of a siege is, if you do not surrender, when we do take your city, we kill everyone. That is the norm. The standard is, if you do not surrender now, when we take the city, if we can take the city, we will kill you. We will punish you so brutally. Do you understand that this is historical? So when the Crusaders did, you all blame the Crusaders for killing all these Jews in Jerusalem. This is warfare. The Jews did the same exact thing in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, they went and killed everybody. They didn't even do a siege war. They killed everyone. God told them to, and I'm in absolute agreement with it, because of the way, the Canaanites were brutal human sacrificers, blah, blah, blah. I don't even go back that far right now, but even the Jews back then. But anyway, the Crusaders had to brutally take out Jerusalem, and Muslims did the exact same thing. If you did not surrender to an Islamic jihad or Islamic surrender, well, I would never surrender them because they're going to kill you anyway. But if you do not surrender, they will, when they do take the city, they will brutally wipe you out. Why? Okay, let me explain why. A siege is a huge loss of your. If you, let's say you're attacking the city, you and I are attacking this city. Okay, I'm taking that back. You're attacking my city. You are attacking my city. If you attack the city, there's an unknown rule that if you do take it, you can brutally kill all of my family or whatever. And I'm going to say, family, I'm going to fight. If we lose, if they take the city, we're all going to die. If we surrender now to them, then we might be enslaved. We don't know what's going to happen. They're probably going to rape all of you. Maybe they'll keep us alive. We don't know, but hopefully something good will come out of it. But chances are they're not, so we're going to fight. And then if they do take the city, they're going to kill us all. That's the norm. That was the norm. Why? Because if you attack the city, the first thing that we as defenders are going to do is we're going to kill you. We're going to attack you. We're going to throw a spear into your face. You're going to fall down, slowly dying, and someone else is going to try to pull you out, and they're going to shoot them with arrows and kill them. And then we're going to mock and laugh at you as you have fatality after fatality after fatality, and wounded after wounded, disease after disease. We're going to laugh at you and mock you while we're attacking you. And if you do take the city, your losses are going to be huge, while ours are going to be very little as defenders of the city. And then we're going to go, oops, you know what? It looks like you're going to take the city, so we'll go ahead and surrender now. Okay, you're going to let us live, right? No, that's not how that works. Here's the one thing. If the Crusaders took the city and then let the Jews in there live, and the Muslims, of course, huge. There was the whole issue was all the Muslims that were there. If they let them live, two things are going to happen. One, the people in the city can retaliate and murder the Crusaders at any time because they're still at full strength, right? Yeah, come into our city, we surrender. And that night, they give you a feast and then we kill you. Well, another thing is, there was reinforcements coming, and the reinforcements had not gotten there yet. So as soon as they got there, guess what the city of Jerusalem would have done? Would have rose up against the Crusaders, who were already weak and beaten. Even though they took the city, they were already very weak, had spent all this time trying to take the city and losing all their own people. No freaking way would I as a Crusader allow the people in the city to live, and then reinforcements are coming. So that's ridiculous the way you guys say this, that the attackers or the retaliation cannot be brutal. Retaliation has got to always be brutal. It always has to be brutal. If it's not brutal, then every town around you is going to do the exact same thing. Oh, we're gonna defend our city and kill as many of you as we can, but then we'll surrender. So if we feel like you're going to win a little, then we'll surrender. No, that's not how that works, ever. And because of the left and Democrats and progressives and capitulators and enablers, warfare today has become very weak by the West because we don't do brutal retaliation. We're meek. We had tried to do, back in the Iraq War. And Afghanistan, every time we go in, they always tie our hands behind our back. They always make us not do things. They always put lawyers on everybody. They try to lawyer the war. It's so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous the way we're allowing the enablers and capitulators to dictate our failed war progress. And actually, we did win. We did win in Vietnam. We did win in Afghanistan. But look what happened. Democrats took over the executive branch or whatever, and then they surrendered. They retreated. You guys saw it real time with Biden. You saw it. You know it. I don't care how much you deny it. That's what happened. You saw the pictures of them fleeing on the C-47 or whatever it's called, the C-14 or whatever the airplane is called. You saw it, and yet you're still going to deny it. But that's exactly what happened in Saigon. It's exactly what happened today. The Democrats took over, and then they did this whole freaking capitulation, and then the evil came in and just started slaughtering people. And that's exactly what happened in Vietnam. We won that war. When Nixon came into office, he started a brutal campaign of bombing. Brutal. Went after civilians, paths, everything with huge bombings. The North said, fuck it, we can't handle this anymore. We got to surrender. So they had a Paris Peace Accord. And so the South got its independence. For about a year, Democrats and Washington Post and all that ruined Nixon. They got him out, impeached. And then they literally said they're not going to support the Paris Peace Accord. And they took out the military. And then freaking leftists, freaking Democrats. So also, let's go to the World War II. World War II, what happened? End of World War II, it was the Germany had an unconditional surrender, wherever the heck it is. I forgot where I saw it. But it's unconditional. The Germany had unconditionally surrendered. It was a military unconditional, but whatever, they surrendered. But guess what? As the U.S. was coming in, so was Russia. And Russia was raping and pillaging and raping. The women of Berlin were, I remember reading about this, where they were just walking down the street and would get raped by 20 Russian men, like one after the other. The Russian soldiers would just come in and just rape all the women. And unconditional surrender was what happened. That we brutally bombed them, bombed the heck out of Germany. So did Russia. And Germany was being attacked by all sides. They were trying to and then that's how we made them surrender. We didn't like get stuff at the border and then work out a deal with them. You believe that working out a deal with Nazis is how it should have gone? No way. Unconditional. Okay, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Why did we do that? Those bombings were on August 6th and 9th. What do you know? They surrendered unconditionally on the 15th. Why did we do 2 bombings in Japan? Because the Japanese worshipped their emperor as a god, and they were all going to fight to the death, the entire country. And, if you read about or see movies on Iwo Jima and all the different islands that we had to go through, that was like worse than Vietnam in a sense, the numbers or whatever. The brutality of the Japanese. I read Rape of Nanking. Okay, I read that book. As idiotic and slapdash as I am quite whatever. I've read Rape of Nanking. It was horrifying and brutal what they did to the people in China, in Nanking, what the Japanese did. The sport of samurai chopping off of heads and children. I don't want to go into details, but the Japanese had no inhibition of the brutality of their paganism. Okay, they were animals, and when we bombed them, we bombed them to brutally beat the fuck out of them. I'm sorry, I'm swearing. We fucked them hard. We took out 300,000, 400,000. We shut them down. That was the only way to stop their entire nation from wanting to fight for their god. That's what they were planning on doing. And the reason we sent bombers over Tokyo and did not bomb the emperor is because we wanted him to be alive to do the unconditional surrender, to get all of Japan to surrender. The reason they didn't bomb Tokyo is because they didn't want to kill the god. They wanted to expose him, and they wanted him to know the fear of our god, of our brutality, so that they would surrender. Unconditional surrender. The reason why Japan is so cool today is because of the Christian American nation that helped set them up. And we are a Christian nation. I'll give it to you, atheists. Today we're not. I will agree with you that today we are not, but back then we were definitely worth. Come on, Truman was praying over the radio to God for this war for this war to end. So screw you. I could go on and on about how the brutality that we needed, that we used, and that is righteous and is real and is effective, is the only way to end this crap. I cannot believe the patheticness. Well, I can, but I'm going to go ahead and rant and get angry. I'm really at peace, actually, but because I know God's in control. Vengeance is God's. God is vengeance, whatever. He's going to take care of all this mamby-pamby, all these cowards, all these criticizing Israel, all this arrogance and pompousness of Christian men who think that Israel isn't still part of God's plan. I'm really pissed off at many Christians, and there's only, I mean, I don't know, I'm just seeing a few here and there. My church is, I don't know, from what I can tell, is silent on it right now, so I don't really know I haven't really had any discussions with people directly at my church, like, and MacArthur didn't mention it in the sermon on that last Sunday, so I don't know what our stance is on it technically, and I haven't, so, but what Israel's doing, and I'm a dude that just likes fighting and likes this shit. I mean, I don't like people dying, but I want them to win the way I've read it in history, that that the Jews in the Bible, how they won, the Israelites in the Bible, how they won. I want them to win that way, and how Crusaders and how the Christians won in history against jihads, against the Ottoman Empire, against the Moors. How we won with them was brutally and effectively, and the Inquisition and the Crusades and the Templars and the witch trials against paganism. We were brutal against them. We had to be. And the Crusades, by the way, was a defensive war. Because remember, Jews were there first, and Christians were there second in Israel and Jerusalem, before Islam. Okay? Turkey was Christian way before Islam. So maybe you should give that back to us, if you guys want to do this whole Palestinian crap. Palestine is a Roman name, is a Latin name for Philistines, which is in that area. And the Philistines came from the Canaanites, which actually are cousins and direct descendants and relatives of the Jews. They both come from the same lineage. So that whole land was always Jewish. It was always part of Israel. Since 22,000 BC. Islam didn't even start till 600, 700, 800. And by 700, by 700, Islam was trying to take France. It was that close to France. And was going to take that much of Europe. And you all are criticizing. I know, it is not amazing. It's pretty obvious and pathetic, but you're pandering and capitulating to Islam. And I know why, because you hate God. You hate Jesus Christ, you hate Israel. You don't have the Holy Spirit in you. That's for sure. You live in fear. You're gonna live in fear because you're gonna fear Islam and atheism. You're gonna fear them. You're not gonna fear the real God and Jesus Christ. You're gonna fear Islam. You're more than happy to blaspheme Jesus Christ and God, but you will not blaspheme Allah or Muhammad. You will not. You will not. Your diversity stops at only blaspheming Christianity and the God of Jesus and the Israelites. That's where your blasphemy is so courageous and cool, and in your movies and in all your stuff. But you will not blaspheme Muhammad or Allah, will you? Little independent atheist sycophants of Islam and of tyranny. Sorry. This is just so pathetic. I'm praying for Israel. I'm really praying for their courage, their bravery in their own land. And, this is kind of end timesy what's going on. I don't know. Jesus doesn't know. Jesus doesn't even know when the end times is. Like, God is the only one that knows. And I mean, I'm just looking at the science. I feel like it is the end times, but I guess it doesn't really matter either way. I'm going to be who I am as Jesus Christ, follower of Jesus Christ. But the amount of capitulation and enabling of this evil is, and being cowards about it, is just allowing it to keep perpetuating, allowing it to attack, murder, and then back off and say, we want peace. And then getting the enablers to go along with that is pretty incredible. I mean, it's written in the Bible, but it's just still, whew. Thank God God is in charge and not me. Not us. He knows what's going on. And he's going to take an account of everyone and what they're doing. All right, so my little frustrating video. I'm just doing my own little goofy ministry here. I'm blessed to be in this safe home for now. I mean, who knows? I live in Hollywood, so who knows? Who knows? Trying to be as vigilant as I can, but I'm thankful to God and my blessings, and may you all have a blessed life too. But fight in any way that you can, and obviously not violently, but I mean fight in the sense of speak out, do things like this. That is our charge. The message of the gospel. That's our charge. That's it. I'm not for nothing else. I don't have to convert anybody. I don't have to kill anybody. I don't have to force anything on anyone. All I have to do is the message that Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior, and I am a Christian, and I believe that absolutely. That's it. I'm done. I mean, that's the commission right there. So that's the joy of being a Christian. And I can love the enemy. So even though I find you all pathetic, I get to sleep at night because I love you. So anyway, okay. Thanks for listening. And in the game of life, roll holy dice.